All right, so welcome everyone to webinar number 1 of our Teach Britannica webinar series entitled Bridge the Gap with Teach Britannica. My name is Chris Heinz. I'm the Director of Customer Experience here at Britannica Education. I've been here for about 3 years, a little over 3 years now. And my job is really to help make folks who have access to our resources have the training and support necessary to get the most out of those resources. With me, I have Christy Bengali, and I'll let Christy introduce herself as well.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here today. I'm Christy Bengali. I'm the curriculum learning specialist. I was behind the creation of a lot of the content that we are going to bring you today with our Teach Britannica site.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And Mike, I apologize you did not get a picture on the intro screen here, but Mike Benson is one of our customer experience managers. I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Hello, Mike Benson. I'll be helping out with just answering questions in the chat and supporting these guys however I can.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. And Kate Rains, our marketing manager extraordinaire, is also on the call. Kate, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Sure. I'm Kate Rains. I'm a senior marketing manager here at Britannica, and yeah, heavily involved in the promotion of Teach Britannica. So excited to have you all here and to kind of show you through the platform.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So as we jump into today's session, we're going to go through a few pieces here. So the first is talking a little bit about Britannica Education and what our purpose is as an organization. Then I'll speak a little bit, and Christy will provide a lot of details about what is Teach Britannica. We'll do a quick overview. We'll go through a few of our lesson minis and instructional strategies and some of the resources that you have available to you there. And then finally, we'll open things up at the end to talk about next steps, open question and answer session, and how to really implement this in your school, your district, your state, wherever you're coming to us from today. If you have any questions, please feel free to communicate those in the chat. We will do our best. Mike will be monitoring the chat to make sure that we're getting you a solid answer here. And then we'll open things up at the end as well to answer any questions you have. And again, keep in mind, this is just session 1 of 5. We will have some additional Teach Britannica content coming at you every Tuesday at 10 a.m. For the next 5 weeks. So hope you're able to join us for some of these follow-up sessions as well. So Britannica Education, who we are, as those of you that were playing trivia before we started here, Britannica's been around for a very long time. We celebrated our 250-year anniversary a few years back. We published our first encyclopedia in 1768, and we've adapted quite a bit since then. So we really want to make sure on our education team, particularly, that we empower educators, that we create meaningful learning experiences that ignite curiosity in your students. So we do this through our really diverse collection of digital solutions. We have solutions for reference, for curriculum, for multilingual students, really to try to make sure that we're meeting the needs of educators and students in our education system. We do have a tailored customer support team, so we work very closely with a lot of our key district and state partners to make sure that you have all the support that you need. And then we have a professional learning team as well to help enhance the usage of our products in the classroom, but also to really take that step with you, right? And how we can help to support and work with you, not just in terms of our product, but in terms of key topics in education as well, to make sure that we can, be a trusted voice to help educators moving forward. So just a little bit about who we are. We like to kind of lead things off and talk a little bit about, why would you trust Britannica? We're a very trusted name kind of in the information space, but we are really working hard to make a change with educators as well. All right, so I'm going to kick things over to Christy, and she is going to talk a little bit about how we can use Britannica resources in the classroom.
Great. And that's a great question to start with. So let's dig right in. Teach Britannica, we've created a dedicated resource hub that offers a variety of teacher resources to help you integrate, as Chris mentioned, our Britannica solutions directly into your classrooms and your daily teaching. We're so excited to share with you these resources today because we truly believe that all of the resources you'll see are not only easy to implement, time saving, and how precious is that for our teachers, but most importantly, practical. And so what I want to talk about for a few moments are our Teach Britannica core principles and foundations. As you see here, there are 5 core design principles on which all of our Teach Britannica resources are grounded. And it's really these 5 principles that we believe make our resources an invaluable instructional tool for 21st century teaching and learning. First is our digital and non-digital options for all of our resources. We really wanted to allow teachers the flexibility to use our resources with or without devices in their classroom, really at their own choice and flexibility, their own discretion. We really understand that many schools are hearing a desire to step away from those devices post-pandemic. I was a former administrator, and post-pandemic, I definitely heard that time and again. And with tech fatigue really being a real problem in the classrooms, we wanted to make sure we gave teachers a choice of digital or non-digital use across all of our resources. Second, all of our Teach Britannica resources promote a student-centered learning approach with all resources that can be adapted to individual needs or classroom needs, and they really encourage active learning and active participation. No longer are we in our classrooms promoting the model of a sit and get strategy. All of these lessons are designed with active learning and active participation at the heart of them. Third, we employ evidence-based practices, ensuring our content is grounded in proven educational research. We support professional learning and growth. We look forward to providing more opportunities, as Chris mentioned, for you to continue to develop your skills and knowledge with our professional learning team, and for them to help support you in additional ways that you can use Teach Britannica in the future. And our final core principle, which I believe is most important, is our commitment to inclusive education. We've intentionally designed our resources to emphasize diversity, equity, and accessibility for all students, as you'll see with each resource during our demo. We'll really go through and highlight that for you. So let's go on to our next slide, Chris. I'd love to show what the 4 resources are that we currently have up on Teach Britannica. So our 4 resources right now include lesson minis, instructional strategies, graphic organizers, and academic toolkits. It's really important to note right from the beginning that some of our resources are product specific, meaning they pair with a specific Britannica solution. Currently, our 2 product-specific resources are our lesson minis and academic toolkits. Lesson minis are specific to our Britannica school solution, whereas academic toolkits are specific to our Britannica academic solution. And we'll speak a little bit more about those when we jump into the demo momentarily. But the 2 other resources available are instructional strategies and graphic organizers, and these are a bit more versatile. Actually, I like to think of them as our Swiss Army knife of resources because they are really applicable across all of our products, and can actually stand alone independent of our products as well. And they can be used pretty much any subject, content area, grade level, right up through university. So with that said, I think it's a good time to jump into our demo. And as we tour these resources, you'll get to see how each work in action, and I'll give you a little bit more detail on the contents of each. I wish we had a drum roll, Chris, to get us started and diving right into the site.
Man, we really should have thought of that. We probably could have embedded a drum roll into the slide deck itself, but
Webinar too, Chris.
Yeah, for the next one, we'll get it. All right. Instead, we have this lovely little placeholder slide for demo. So let me go ahead and jump into Teach Britannica. So we'll go through some of the resources. I'll provide a little bit of an overview here in terms of what you can access through Teach Britannica, and we'll really flesh out what this looks like for you. But basically, this is your landing page. This is, what are we now, 3 weeks old? Brand new resource. A couple things to highlight. This is open access, so it is not behind any kind of firewall or paywall. It is really designed to pair with Britannica products, but you will see some stuff in here that, like Christy mentioned, it's a little bit more flexible, kind of those Swiss Army knife tools. They can pair with Britannica stuff, they can pair with classroom instruction and whatever curriculum folks are using, really as a way to enhance that experience for teachers and students. You may also see some products on here that you do not have access to as a user. So from this Teach Britannica homepage, we do have links to all of the content that is aligned to our specific products. Britannica School is our most used product here, and you'll see that we do have content that's aligned to each level of Britannica School. And then if you look below that, you can access content that's aligned to our other products as well. The other thing about Britannica School is that we do have a direct link from Britannica School. So in Britannica School, if you click on the little blue Britannica Education thistle in the top right corner, you will see a link that says New Teach Britannica. It will take you directly to the resources that align to whatever level of Britannica School you're in. And I'll show you why that's important in just a second. But just so you know, there is a direct connection from Britannica School to Teach Britannica, and something that we're working on with our other products as well. As I scroll down the page here, we do have some brief information. We will give you this little, hey, if you want to sign up for more information in our newsletter. Each of these little cards here do give a little bit more information about the different types of resources that we have. We go into a little bit more detail about what Christy was talking about with our core principles and foundations, and then some quick links to our instructional strategies and graphic organizers as well. But enough talking about it from the homepage. Let's dive in and see what is kind of below the hood here. So I'm going to jump first into our Britannica School Early Elementary. If you are in Britannica School Early Elementary and you click on that quick link, it will take you directly to this page. So whatever level you're in Britannica School, it will take you right here to see all of the resources that are aligned to that particular level. And so the first set of resources here, and kind of the largest, most connected to the Britannica School resource, are the lesson minis. These are designed to be either, they're activities that are evidence-based and designed to be implemented either sequentially together or flexibly implemented activities. So we'll jump into our furry and feathered friends. This used to be called Fun, Furry, and Feathered Friends. I was glad that the word fun was taken off, because it does make it a little bit easier to say and not trip up on. But our Furry and Feathered Friends lesson mini, a couple things to point out. We do a quick overview here at the top. Again, as Christy mentioned, digital fatigue is real. And wanting to have the flexibility to utilize these resources in print as well. So you can print all of this content out and share this directly with students also. As I scroll down the page here, we have some ideas for where this lesson mini could be implemented, whether it's in a science lesson, in the media center, learning centers. We front load all of our vocabulary here at the beginning. So all the words that students are going to encounter throughout these different lessons, we want to make sure that they have those definitions kind of ready and provided for them. We also offer authentic learning extensions. So again, knowing that you may want to use this as a jumping off point for a project-based approach, or as an introduction for a field trip, or we're going to have a veterinarian or a community helper come into the classroom, and we want our students to have kind of a base of knowledge before they do. But we provide kind of some ideas for how you could extend the learning beyond the resource and use these activities as a way to really integrate some real world experience into the classroom as well. Then I scroll down here and we get to our different activities. So in this particular lesson mini, there are 5 activities that our team has built. In some cases, you may see 2, 3, 4, or 5. Again, they are designed to be flexibly implemented. So if you really like activity 3, you can just go ahead and implement that by itself. We do have kind of a pacing guide here as well, so approximately how long we would expect this to take in the classroom. Some of these are less than 20. You might see 20 to 30, 30 to 40, or 40 plus, depending on kind of what content you're going to be covering with your students. And then if I go into our activities here, we provide kind of 4 key areas here. So we have our materials and resources. So any materials that you might need, if there's a graphic organizer or a worksheet that pairs along with this content, you can download that directly from the site right here. And gives you everything that you'll need in order to implement those with students. Then we go into our implementation steps. So we have all of our steps for how you would implement this in the classroom. We have some suggestions for differentiation and variation for different student groups. And then finally, at the bottom here, we do have some suggestions for if you're in a co-teaching or a team teaching environment, how you can integrate this into a collaborative teaching environment as well. So, Christy, anything to share about kind of the lesson minis and the construction of kind of how these were built to provide a little bit more context for folks?
Sure. So the topics were selected in alignment with the key categories that you'll see in B School for that level. So for example, this topic at the top here is for animals, which corresponds directly to the articles within that category in B School. And just something that I'd really love to highlight and stress is that in that material section, in addition to instructional strategies, graphic organizers, and worksheets that we've included for you, we also have constant tiebacks to the Britannica School articles, videos, images that connect directly to that lesson. And a part that Chris mentioned was our differentiation, variation, and collaborative teaching. And that's something that I personally get really excited about. It offers tips to help you tailor each activity for your different learners. And whether you need to dial it down to provide some more scaffolds and supports, or to increase a challenge or increase rigor, we always give options for both. And in addition, the other new feature that really sets us apart, I think, from these resources is our section on co-teaching in classrooms to support the roles of both the gen ed teacher and the special ed teacher. It really kind of takes that activity and walks through for them a clear framework of what their role is throughout the activity, so that each are playing a key role in that work.
Awesome. And as I was clicking around in the background, I promise I was not getting distracted or trying to throw Christy off. But I found in this particular lesson here about amphibians, as Christy was mentioning, we have links back to Britannica School content. And so this is a really good one that highlights different article video content from Britannica School. And if I were to click on this, it takes you directly into the Britannica School resource. And so you're able to kind of link back to that Britannica content as well. I also may have been a little distracted. My kids are obsessed with axolotls. And so we've listened to podcasts. They have little axolotl stuffies. So when I saw the axolotl, I was like, that's the path that I want to go down here.
There might be some printables for them in there then, Chris, that they might like.
I'm gonna do some exploring. I think that'll work really well. All right. So resource number 2 are the instructional strategies, and these are designed to be a little bit more flexible. They're not tied to specific content from Britannica, but they're more tied to really just good instructional practices and providing some additional resources here as well. So for example, if I'm working with students on cause and effect, and I really want them to focus on that as a skill. For this instructional strategy, we provide kind of the grade level that this would be appropriate for. So cause and effect can really be appropriate across all K-12. When this can be implemented, it can be done before, during, or after reading. Any materials that you might need. And again, This is something that can be printed off here. So the cause and effect graphic organizer, it will load as a PDF here. Couple things about the PDFs and the graphic organizers. They are designed both for, to be printable. They also are fillable forms here. So if I were to type anything in here, it'll save that in the PDF as well. So they can be used both digitally and in printed form as well. But we provide kind of a quick procedure, again, some differentiation and variation related to these strategies here. But you can see how these are a little bit more flexible, not necessarily as structured as a lesson mini, but really designed to focus on good instructional practice in the classroom.
Great. One thing I'd love to point out, Chris, if you could navigate back for a moment, remembering that when Chris first entered the site, he was through the Britannica early elementary site. When you click on the instructional strategies here, we've really drilled down the instructional strategies for this age group that align best for these learners. When we were looking at the homepage originally, there is a direct link to all of our instructional strategies if you wanted to see the full collection. I believe currently we have over 40 instructional strategies. But what I'd love to show you too is our filter that we built in for you to choose the type of strategy. So if we go into our instructional strategies and we're looking at the full library here, I have the choice of choosing the type. We have 6 types currently, and it really depends on what that learning outcome is. We have acquire vocabulary, organize thinking, read actively, question and inquire, discuss and collaborate, summarize and synthesize. So if I click on, let's just say discuss and collaborate, I will see a filter down view of all of our discussion and collaboration strategies, but then I can also narrow down or drill a little bit deeper into the specific grade band I'm looking for. And it will sort these instructional strategies into a nice kind of concentrated collection for you. And they range from kindergarten all the way up through high school level, which is really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I think is, trying to make sure that we're able to provide these resources in a way that's as easy as possible for teachers to access, find what they're looking for, find the, appropriate content. Because I think a lot of what we hear from folks as we, work with our key district, state, and school partners is that, a lot of folks in the library know Britannica really well, but teachers don't always know how to use this resource that they have access to in the classroom. And so really trying to provide as much support, make it as easy as possible to connect Britannica content to classroom practice as well. All right, last thing second to last thing we'll show you are the graphic organizers. This has always been a very popular piece of what we formerly called our Britannica Asset Library, where we had dozens of graphic organizers tied to Britannica School, ImageQuest, and all of our other resources. I once did a session in a school district not too far from where I am in the western suburbs of Chicago, where I showed the asset library and the graphic organizers first. And then one of the librarians in the room, she spent the rest of the time not listening to anything I said, but clicking and downloading every PDF graphic organizer. And when she left the room, she said it was the best professional development that she'd ever been to. So we know the folks love graphic organizers. But again, all of these are fillable PDF forms. They can be printed. If I click on any one of these here, I'll scroll down to my personal favorite, which is our jigsaw puzzle. So if I click on view, it'll open this again as a separate PDF form. I really like this as a strategy for either group work or, if you create a resource pack in Britannica School with 4 resources and then provide students with the graphic organizer to then say for the, primary source, secondary source, image, and video, please highlight kind of what the main idea was and how that helped you to understand the topic better. But really just some nice tools that can be used in the classroom, in the media center, as part of library programs, just things that are really flexibly implemented within the school. Christy, any additional context on the graphic organizers?
I would just add that I can totally see the teachers that I was used to working with downloading these and putting them in a binder as well, so that they're kind of quick access one pagers to use. These can also be nicely filtered by grade level at the top. So we've kind of prioritized the graphic organizers, excuse me, that are most appropriate for each grade level. And these also span up through university. So when we go into our academic toolkits in a moment, you'll see that some of these can actually be used at the university or collegiate level as well. Another feature that I just love about this design, as Chris mentioned, we had so many in our asset library, but the way that these are beautifully laid out on the screen with a preview before you kind of click into them gives you a really quick time-saving ability to find the one that you want to use and download it and kind of go from there. We have given some of our older graphic organizers a really nice facelift, but we've included many to this library. I believe we have over 70 right now. And we've added a lot at the middle high school level to support note-taking strategies or note-taking skills to support the research process. So we've really added to our collection as well based on user feedback and some more graphic organizers that were wanted out there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christy. And then the last thing we'll show here are the academic toolkits. And so these are tied. If my device decides that it wants to catch up with the speed that I'm trying to organize here. As Christy mentioned earlier, these are really tied to our Britannica academic product, which is really built for post-secondary research. And that's kind of our highest level content here. But one of the things that I think our colleagues in the field were telling us is that a lot of times, even though we expect a lot of college students, right? We expect our kids, once they've graduated high school, that they've kind of mastered some research skills. And a lot of professors and folks in the academic space were telling us our students are really struggling here with, kind of just research skills, right? And not necessarily knowing, having that information literacy and the ability to really craft effective research questions and analyze and evaluate sources. And so we've put together these toolkits that are designed either to be used by a professor as part of kind of teaching these research skills to students, or they can be used by students independently as they're working through research and just looking for some additional content to help them build those skills. So I'll go into, we like to talk about media literacy here. So we'll go into source credibility, reliability, and bias. And so just as a quick tour here, we have a quick overview that talks about the academic toolkit. We go through some of the key concepts that students are going to approach here, additional resources that might help them. And then as I scroll down, we have just kind of a step-by-step guide, getting students first off to identify what their sources are. So even just providing information like a primary, a secondary, or a tertiary source. Having them understand and detect bias, knowing that everything that they read online is going to have some form of bias, right? And really trying to get them to understand what that means. Some fact-checking techniques, understanding currency, making sure that content is relevant and up to date, determining that relevance. And so really just going through kind of the steps of how students would evaluate information that they find in online and printed sources. So really just, again, designed to help them build those research skills, provide some kind of practical strategies for students who may not have gotten that kind of background as they've gone into the post-secondary world. Christy, anything to add to academic toolkits?
I think you really nailed that, Chris. I think, the beauty of these is that they can be printed and used as well as a sort of checklist for students. And I think one of my favorite parts is the next steps at the bottom. So after a student has kind of walked through the procedure related to the specific topic, what next? That's often the big question, right? Like, what do I do from here? So we provide them with usually 3 quick, easy next steps to kind of take the learning from this resource and continue it to apply it in a real world application.
Awesome. So that's it. That's the Teach Britannica overview. I feel like as I've spoken with folks in the field, both in terms of, offering training with some of our partners as well as attending conferences, folks have been really excited about this. I think, just the depth and breadth of resources that Christy and her team have built in here. I'm blown away. I feel like it's really, like I said, something that is designed to make it very, very easy for teachers to see how that Britannica content can be implemented in the classroom as well. Again, open access. It's available at teachbritannica.com. So anyone on here, you can go to teachbritannica.com and you can access all of these resources for easy use within your school. So let me jump back into our slides here. And we are now done with the demo. So I will open things up for Q&A here. So if anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, please feel free to put those in the chat. Did see a couple questions come through, and so we'll address those ones first. So first question, what's the plan for adding more content to Teach Britannica? I know we've kind of focused on this as a new resource, so we're going to be adding to it. So Christy can maybe inform us a little bit on in terms of adding more content to Teach Britannica.
Yeah, we have a lot of exciting additional resources planned for the future. I can't give too much away, but I'll let you know that coming soon, we are adding some lesson minis to our high school level, specifically related to the research process, which is really nice. But we are looking for your feedback as well. And as you start to dig into the site and use it, and we encourage you to sign up for our newsletter so that you get all of our up-to-date notifications on new resources. Please let us know what you like and what works and any suggestions you might have. We will be looking to add some material on our other products as well. So some ImageQuest resources hopefully coming soon, but lots in the works. We plan to roll things out on kind of a monthly basis for you to anticipate. I wasn't sure also if Kate wanted to mention, while that is a great question, Chris, about our free resource Fridays on social, because they're really exciting if you've got to see our first one this past Friday.
Yeah, like you said, on social media across our different social channels, every single Friday, we plan on sharing out a Teach Britannica hashtag free resource Friday. Those resources will be sharing a mix of all of the various learning materials that you can find throughout the Teach Britannica platform. And we'll also be teasing and kind of prompting those resources with topical educational topics. So again, trying to help save educators time and share these resources out on a weekly basis. So yeah, stay tuned, follow us on social media, and we'll be dishing out those resources each and every week.
Awesome. And the two of you together answered the other two questions that we had that came through. Asking if lesson minis are coming to other products. Yes, we'll see them in the high school level. And again, more to come in terms of kind of the content that will be added to our other resources as well. And then how do we stay up to date? So if you go to Teach Britannica, you saw me kind of shoo it away a few times in the bottom left corner, but you'll get that little kind of overlay to sign up for our newsletter. So you'll get our monthly newsletter, which will inform you about all things Britannica, including the rest of our webinar series, the other 4 sessions that we will be hosting about Teach Britannica, where we will really dive more into specific use cases. So next week, we'll focus on Britannica School. We'll have some where we focus on kind of cross-curricular resources. We'll dive into the academic toolkits. So more to come there. And then follow us on social for our free resource Fridays. Kate and our marketing team are doing really great things on social as well, in terms of, really making sure we're getting the word out about, exciting new updates with Britannica, both product related, Teach Britannica related, everything that we're out there doing. So I think that covers our questions. So without any further ado, I will let everybody go. Not that I'm holding anyone hostage here, but I'll let everyone go. Enjoy the rest of your day. But thank you for those of you that joined us. Really excited to be able to speak to Teach Britannica with you. Again, I'm Chris Heinz. She's Christy Bengali, and Mike Benson, Kate Rains as well. We're all happy to have you on the team here. So again, please reach out to us if you have any questions, and we will do our best to support you all moving forward. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.